Hey, good afternoon. It is Tuesday, March the 9th. It's about I say it was about 2 p.m. Central Mountain Time. And I know I said I was going to try to do a review of some movies yesterday for International Women's Day, but I'm a guy and I got caught behind. I'm sorry. I said some didn't do it on time, but it's But this next thing I want to review is a movie called Moxie. Moxie is directed and co-produced by Amy Poehler, who has been on such TV shows as Saturday Night Live, Parks and Recreation, Upright Citizens Brigade, Late Night with Conan O'Brien. She is a very, very funny and talented actress, and I think she is proving herself to be a very, very good director. She's only directed one previous film, Wine Country, which I liked, but I didn't really care to see again. I'm sorry to say it, but it had its moments. But I felt that for a first-time director, it was a good outing, as this is her second movie, and she is learning how to do things. And I think she may one day be a very well-respected, recognized director. She may even, be possibly a best director contender or winner. Moxie was released on Netflix, I think, March 3rd or 4th. And immediately after seeing it, I knew it was going to divide a lot of people. Uh, if you go into this movie thinking it's going to be another uh, chick flick, teen comedy, like Easy A, or what was the other movie? 10 Things I Hate About You, or Mean Girls, then you're going to be very, very disappointed. This is actually a very well made and finally uh, well made coming of age drama about young women, teenage high schoolers who are going through a lot of things that hardly ever get any notice in films. I am so sick and tired of movies like Dead Poet Society, A Separate Piece, Son of a Woman, um, School Ties. These movies about Ivy League wasps who have everything, but something minuscule happens to them and it affects their whole lives. That is not high school I went to. That's probably not the high school you went to. That is probably not the high school environment people have gone to for decades. And this movie is told through the eyes of a young woman who played very well by Hadley Robinson, who is like a lot of young teenagers, boys and girls, and who are living in single parent homes. Or Amy Poehler plays her mother, and one it's the start of the new school year, and she's about 16, 17 years old, and I think finally she gets fed up with a lot of the things that are going on at school, and she starts a what they call a zine called Moxie. Moxie is kind of a parody of something that the teacher says, or not a teacher, but the principal says during a school assembly. And at first, it's very, very obscure, but then it takes off, and all the young women, or not all of them, but a lot of the young women on campus are seeing um, doing things differently. This movie touches on some very, very subtle and not too subtle racist, sexist, misogynistic elements that are going on in every high school in America this day and age. I like in particular that the football team in this movie does not have a good season, but yet like the school assemblies are made out to be like this is the Super Bowl for them, or the playoff. And the I think it's the soccer team is actually doing a lot better, but they're not getting any of the uh, of the attention or the praise. And I've covered high school sports as a journalist, and I can tell you this is very, very accurate. I mean, you would not believe how many young women are busting their butts uh, in basketball, volleyball, soccer, tennis, and they're doing great things, but yet some foosball team goes half and half, wins 5 games, loses 5, and all of a sudden they're in the playoffs. And oh my God, let's all rally around the football team. So, and speaking of the football team, there is I guess the guy in the movie who was supposed to be kind of like the bad guy, the main villain, the antagonistic guy is a man played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, Mitch, and he is a very, very unlikable character. He is a very creep. He's a brown noser. He's a there's a scene in which he uh, takes this girl's coke and he spits in her coke. And spoiler alert, it comes to find out at the end of the movie that he actually raped another one of the girls the previous year. This is not a movie in which he's not going to have a slow clap at the end. This is a movie that I think touches on a lot of things. Like I said, what happens is there's this Hadley Robinson and her friend, played by Lauren Tsai. They're kind of like the people you don't really see in high school. The kind of like not the in crowd, but kind of like on the outer rims. And this young uh, another new student comes to school named Lucy, played by, I want to say this correctly, Alicia Pascual Pena, and she kind of doesn't like all the things that are going on, and she's kind of like the stepping stone for the other character, Vivian, played by Hadley Robinson, to change. But it's not. She's not the kind of the. I don't want to use this term, but I will. But she's not kind of like the magical Negro who is going to come in to help out the white woman. They're actually very, very equal characters, and it does show how a lot of dark skinned black people of color on high school campuses are overlooked. There is a subplot about this character Mitch, who's the football player, him kind of going uncontested for this scholarship, this $10,000 scholarship, and another one of the soccer players who's black, who is better athlete than him, is in contention, and I've seen that. And that's probably going to strike home for a lot of people who have witnessed this in their own academic, athletic careers, and it is a very, very powerful movie. I think a lot of women, young, middle aged, and old, will probably older, pardon me, will look at this and say, "Hey, I remember that. That was just what it was like when I was going to school." This is not a movie for young people. It's a movie for everyone. I think, even though it's set in modern times, there's references to cyberbullying and and also the aforementioned rape. But there's also reference to how administrators care more about what women are wearing. There's one girl is wearing a kind of a blouse halter top, and well, she has bigger breasts than another student who is perfectly allowed to wear it. And that has been going on almost since the old days, in which young women, young girls had to like literally get down on their knees so that because their dresses weren't touching the floor, which is a very demeaning thing to do to any person, especially any time. And this is kind of like a rage movie. I think a lot of women will uh, identify with this movie, and I think that's why a lot of people won't like it, because it is a very pro-feminist, pro-women's rights movie. And if you don't like it, then that's just your beef. I mean, if you don't see what the problem is, you're part of the problem. Now, there are a few problems I have with this movie, and it mainly has to do with casting and pacing, but that's can be expected with any type of director who is learning their craft. I like Poehler, but I didn't really think she was right to play the mom in this role. I thought that Poehler is the kind of woman, she just commands this big look when you see her. I mean, and I thought the mom should have been more reserved, and but she does have some a good scene, and when she confronts her daughter about her behavior. Marcia Gay Harden is the plays the principal. Uh, Typically, for a high school like this, there would be more than one administrator. You'd have a dean of students or an assistant or vice principal who would mainly be handling more of the student behavior problems. But Marcia Gay Harden, unfortunately, I think she's playing this role as if it's a comedy, and it's not. It has comedic elements. There are moments in which you want to laugh at certain things, but she's just too different. It's like she's trying to be in a different movie. She does nail how a lot of administrators overlook things, how they don't want to deal with social media, cyberbullying, and they more or less cater to whoever is the student or student's parents who can help them out. And it really touches on the apathy that the educational bureaucrats have in this country and how they're willing to allow certain things to happen and overlook other things. I mean, everyone going into this movie could probably see that they've had a principal just like her at one of the schools. And there is some, it does kind of end with, everyone rallying together there, but I also thought that scene kind of didn't pay off. It wants to be more I'm Spartacus, but it comes out being more like Donna Martin Graduates for all you 90210 fans. So, but I do think it is a good stepping stone. I do think that it will encourage a lot of other young female directors, old, middle aged, whatever your age is, make more of these movies, please. I'm tired of seeing silly movies like about some 16-year-old girl worried about, if Blaine or Jake Ryan is going to love them. I think a lot of 16, 17-year-old teenage high school girls are worried about, like the character is, are they going to have someone come to them and try to rape them? And there's a scene, I think, which the character Vivian and her boyfriend are actually having an honest discussion about teen and premarital sex, and I think that's eye opener because a lot of young men aren't just interested in sex. A lot of young men are interested in having relationships with women, and like I said, Schwarzenegger, who is obviously who his father is, he plays this character Mitch so well that I'm almost feel sorry for him because he's probably going to get typecast by this role. And Schwarzenegger, his father was Arnold Schwarzenegger. His father is Arnold Schwarzenegger. His mother's Maria Shriver. I mean, and so he's born into that Kennedy clan family, that action hero role. So he has some pretty good footsteps to step in. And he's a very young, handsome man, but I'm pretty sure he's probably going to have a lot of people angry at him. I've seen this if they're not already, which is a great, uh, great part of being an actor. and a lot of the actresses in this movie, I've actually looked at them, and a lot of them haven't done much. It's funny that uh, Hallie Robinson was in Little Women that just came out a couple of years ago, which I think we just need to stop making. Stop making Little Women movies. Stop it. You know, we get it. All right. There's been like a gazillion of these movies made. You know, make something else. Make something more younger women can want to watch. And also the woman who plays Lucy, Alicia, she has, from what I understand, she's been in the new Saved by the Bell um, series that's on Peacock or one of those streaming networks, which I think is interesting because for her to jump from this role to that role back and forth, it kind of shows you how diverse it is. And these women are just, pretty good at what they're doing. There's also I want to end with this. There's also a scene in this movie. This is another reason why I think a lot of conservatives will not like this film. There's a scene in this movie where they're out at a concert, and I'm not giving too much away, but the character of Lucy kisses another girl, and it's what I call in the movie surprise kiss when somebody kisses another person and they realize this is the moment they're in love. And and the way Poehler directs this film, the way the actresses play it, it's almost like, oh yeah, well, of course, all right, that's just a couple kids in love, or a couple in love, or a couple kids maybe in who realize they like each other. This isn't an experimentation. It's not played for kink. It's played for our love. And I know some people say, well, of course Lucy is a lesbian, but I don't really know if she even thinks she's likes girls. I think that might be her awakening. Like I said, I know I'm a guy. I know a guy with a beard, long hair. I'm probably not the right person to be reviewing this, but I do feel strongly for women's rights. I am a very pro women's rights person, and I think this movie. Hopefully, more movies like this will be made. I'm not saying they should make Moxie 2 Electric Boogaloo or Moxie 2 the college years, but I do think a lot of young women may think differently about a lot of the movies that are being made. I want to say that if you have this movie is PG-13, so if you have kids, if you can watch this with your parents, you can watch it with your grandparents, or so it's a good movie. So you might want to go check it out. It does have a few problems with the casting and the pacing, but that's not everything is perfect. But I think overall it is a good movie. So check it out. Thank you.